Hello everyone, Big Baboony here. Why are we Big Baboony? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today because we went to Kentucky and some things happened and I'll tell you about them. So the venue was great. It's hosted by Brian Jones. It was in a gymnasium. You can only see a part of it here in this little screenshot. But it had plenty of tables, plenty of things, plenty of food, and plenty of water because it was torrenting rain that weekend. But we kept relatively dry, but great venue, great people, great accommodations. So we'll start backwards and go from there. It's going to be a two-part video. So this video is going to talk mostly about my Type 1 experience, and the next video is going to talk about Classic and teams. So the last event was Booster Draft, and by the time we hit this, my brain was just fried. Decided to draft up a nice little Green Profits deck. Promptly lost the first round, and then I dropped because I was just so tired. I didn't want to play multiplayer Booster Draft. I was really hoping to play some one-on-one Booster Draft, but it's not how the cookie crumbled, and that's what we did. I don't have much to say about Booster Draft, except Jaden won Booster Draft. Congrats, Jaden. But Type 1 is really where all my thoughts were going towards for this tournament. And if you've been following my channel, I've been having to make a difficult decision. Do I play Nativity or do I play Big Clay? And so I'm sweating before the tournament. I was on the fence. And as I got both the decks ready, and as I landed in Kentucky, I flipped a coin and it came up Big Clay. So I left it up to fate. We went big. The age of small is over. Time of big has begun. That's why we're big Baboony. It's all about big Clay, Big Baboony. Let's talk about the deck list, shall we? Before we get into some matches, because it was recorded and I am on camera. A bit hard to see here, but we'll do our best. The Lost Soul base is a Meek Lost Soul base playing the first. This is an important acceleration engine for the deck. You'll notice it's 100 cards. And that's why we call it Big Clay, because it's double the size of your typical deck. So why would you want to double the size of your 50 card deck? Doesn't that make it harder to draw your Son of God card? And yeah, well, technically, yes, it does, but it can also double up on some of the best cards in the game if they're single brigades, like Woman of Thebes, Spirit as a Dove, and Resurrection Revealer. And you can also fit more dominance into your deck because you get one dominant per Lost Soul. So if you're running more Lost Souls, you can run more dominance. If you have ways to get to your dominance quickly, you can leverage those in combat against your opponent and hopefully overwhelm them with the amount of resources you're getting. So this is a clay based deck. We're really trying to get out a Matthew on turn 1 to draw cards and accelerate us into the rest of our deck. On defense, we're running some Soulhide with Plotting Priest, Anasty Elder, Woman of Thebes, holding down the fort. And in the late game, we're really trying to choose the blocker. So we're using Possessing Spirit. We have one here and one in the reserve. We get Unity, we can place this down and then attack with Simon the Zealous, convert it to Meek, choose it to block, and we can play one of our battle winners. But we're really trying to play the Ascension so that we can band all of our heroes into battle and get a bunch of activations. So if we band Nicodemus, we can draw cards. If we can band in Bartholomew, we can play the first out of our deck, draw more cards. Mary can negate characters. Lazarus can negate stuff, draw cards. Joanna, draw cards. Guardians, protect. Matthias, bounce. Woman with Child searches for our Son of God, which is important. So you get the picture. That's a high level idea of the deck. I'm playing it a lot on the channel, so I'm not going to speak too much more about it. I don't think I made any really last minute changes or anything. I think maybe I cut Book of the Covenant and put Send the Helper main deck. The card isn't dead on turn 1 like Book of the Covenant is, and I needed some more reserve slots. So let's see, what did I put in the reserve? Oh yeah, I slapped a Nazareth in there, which came back to be a good decision. So that's a deck list. Let's talk about some of the feature matches and how the tournament went. So round 1 went great. I won 5-0. I don't think there's much I need to say about that match. And this is round 2, what we're gonna see here. I'll put a link in the description to the VOD. There's no sound for a lot of it. We were trying to figure out the stream setup, and we didn't realize we had a video camera that had a microphone on it. So we only turned on the sound in like the last match of the game. And we also have the deck list live on Land of Redemption. So if you're curious to see about what all the decks were, we'll talk about that at the end of the video. But I think for this match, we're fighting against Andrew's Joshua Thieves deck. I hope I'm getting that right. There are a lot of Joshua decks running around. A little bit hard for me to keep track of who's running what. But based upon the match, I think I remember Ark of the Covenant being a deciding card. But obviously if I get this wrong, I can just tell you. Yeah, it looks like there's some thieves in there. So the first matchup was, or this matchup, the second round, I won the die roll, but I decided to go second Sometimes going second isn't so bad, especially if you don't have a really like accelerating Matthew turn. I think I did have a way to Matthew in my opening hand, but because I didn't have any lost souls, I felt pretty confident letting my opponent go first and just kind of waste their turn, so to say, and then I can get even more resources. If I have a possessing spirit in my hand, that's another reason why letting the opponent going first is a good idea, because if they put down some good stuff, you can put your possessing spirit on their stuff, and possessing spirit will impact the game on turn one. Good old prosperity, just discarded Shrine to Artemis, drew some cards, and that's the best use of Shrine to Artemis in my opinion. If you're playing the Joshua deck running and you're trying to like shuffle away your promised land, why not just run Goliath's Curse instead? It's a better way to, you don't have a dead card because Goliath's Curse actually does something. Anyways, so I got pretty lucky here. Opponent did not have any heroes on turn one, so my decision to go second really paid off. I'm just trying to craft my plan here. There's an Ark of the Covenant up, which is restricting my evil dominance, but shouldn't be an issue. I have a Concealed Riches going down. I don't think I actually have a way to Matthew, so my strongest attack is Gabriel, Guardian's Band of Gabriel. Search deck for silver cards. So if I get Angelic Guidance this turn, that means I can set up for a nice attack next turn, assuming I have a silver hero, because I can search out a way to get to Matthew or something. So I don't feel too great about this this attack. I think I have like Angel of the Lord to back this up, but in the face of Plunders into Judas into Thief, it's not looking too hot. Condemned Thief will also get to look at my hand. So yeah, I have some, it was a good attack. I mean, I had Angel Glory, so against any non-Judas attack or band, I think this could have broken through, but the Thief's got enough defense on turn one to stop me here, and he gets to take the best enhancement out of my hand. If he kills my Thieves in battle, he won't have to worry about Angelic Guidance, but he decides to take that anyways, because at least that's useful in his deck if he draws a silver hero. Doing some math, asking whose initiative it is. Looks like it's my initiative, and I'm dying by the numbers, and I can't play my dominance, so I'm just gonna die. So and we're both off to kind of some awkward starts here. And there, that is true about the big clay deck. You can really draw some clunky hands, and that's what cards like Concealed Riches are, and that's what your defense is designed to do. In the case of an awkward start, you can maybe slow down the game, or on turn two, you can ship away your clunky cards and get your velocity and your reserve. So opponent was facing some soul drought, but to get out of it, he lawlessed me, which got a lost soul in play, so very smart. And opponent's name is Andrew. So yeah, Andrew's making some smart plays here. He's able to get a Led Astray. And Woman of Thebes really good against Joshua. They don't have stone carriers. I'm able to just chump with Woman of Thebes, give him a blocker, and there's nothing they can do about it. They did have a second coming, so they could have used second coming to go get their 3 woes, and then 3 woes Woman of Thebes. So that was a line of play that was available to them, but maybe they didn't have any Joshua enhancements. So I don't know if they would, even if they negated Woman, I don't know if they had the numbers. So let's see. Oh yeah, they did have a battle winner or 2. All right, so I have a Betrayal. So I'm really trying to set up Simon the Zealous, and a card that Simon the Zealous doesn't like is Glory of the Lord. And my hand is still kind of, I make a misplay here. I drew a Resurrection Revealer. So what I should have done Resurrection Revealer, attack, grab Resurrection, play it, abandon Zacchaeus and Empty Tomb Hero for my deck. So at least I could have drawn some more cards here. I could have even got another Resurrection Revealer and started negating their neutrals. So Ark of the Covenant. So, but this, at least this way, I get to hold on to my Resurrection for a future turn. But I probably should have burned it there. All right. So my opponent's turn, they're gonna have Gospel Unity, so they can put down Possessing Spirit, but have a Great White Throne in play, which can let me use it at any time to discard evil cards in my territory. So it's gonna backfire on them. So they weren't able to set up anything tricky there. Officiator's coming in slow. It's just a very slow Joshua start, very slow, big clay start, I guess. And here's the reason. Here's one of the reasons why big clay is good. I mean, we can just block and give somebody Woman of Thebes 2 turns in a row. Granted, not all games are going to be like this, but if opponent really doesn't have an answer for Woman of Thebes, then it's just like really backbreaking to run into 2 of them 2 turns in a row. So I have 1 lost soul. All right. A handful of dominance, but Judas and Ark of the Covenant are making it a little bit hard for me to play them. Put down a wall of protection. But Great White Throne is going to be able to help us get to our important heroes here. I don't know exactly who I'm trying to do. I think I'm trying to set up for a big resurrection in turn, plus choose the blocker on Woman of Thebes. Basically what I should have done last turn. So yep, there goes Resurrection Revealer. Now I'm just trying to leverage my position and just try to close out the game. I need to make 2 more rescue attempts and get to my Son of God second second coming. So we'll ban to Mary, Joanna, Zacchaeus. Oh, I should say woman with child. Woman with child grabs crouch choice for Tamik to draw 2 cards. And assuming they don't have a black enhancement in their reserve, this should be another block. And assuming they don't, oh wait, they have a Ark of the Covenant out, so they can't use second coming to go get woes to negate Zacchaeus. I'm gonna burn my crouch choice here because I guess I want to draw more cards or something. I think I'm trying to set up for a big burial here. Joshua decks aren't known to get a lot of soul generation. So here's a trick you can do with big clay. You can attack, put a Herod's Temple into play, then play Harvest Time. After that, you play the first out of your deck, put it into play, and it'll trigger because all your lost souls are meek. So you can draw a card, put it on top, and then you activate Herod's Temple again and do that up to 4 times to get the first. So you can draw like 4 cards off of your Harvest Time. They aren't negating your neutrals there. So I'm just completely bypassing the Thief defense with choosing the blocker shenanigans. Now I'm pretty comfortably in the lead here. Going up to 3 after playing Son of God and playing our territory class and getting a burial in our hand and coming down to hand size. So there's an Ark of the Covenant in play, which means I currently can't play my burial or my Led Astray, which are some of my best blocks against their deck. What I can do is play 3 woes as good. There's nothing stopping me from doing that. And a good 3 woes can negate Ark of the Covenant. So I still have my evil dominance. My hand is just full of gas right now, full of dominance. I have everything I need to close out the game and also get a lot of blocks. So despite some early stumbling, we're able to climb back in here. We're going to get some extra value. Herdsman's going to draw some cards, then we'll just play our dominance or even a Scattered Sheep. They're scared of the Scattered Sheep, so they have to Glory of the Lord. And we'll negate the Ark of the Covenant, and then we'll just Led Astray. We can save our barrel for another day. And then during my turn, I'm going to use Great White Throne. Or sorry, during the end of his turn, I'm going to use Great White Throne to discard my non-gospel evil characters, because I want to set up Possessing Spirit for the last turn. And in order to do that, I need to have Gospel Unity. Good old Untouchable Star ability, drawing me 2 cards. So yeah, now I just need to figure out a way to get to Simon and Possessing Spirit. But luckily Concealed Riches lets me do that. I can trade in some cards I don't need. And I have a package in my reserve that gets me to Simon plus Possessing Spirit. Wrong Simon, Simon Peter. No, I can get Reassuring Angels plus Possessing Spirit. I guess I already have a way to get to him in my hand. So he already played his Glory, so this is pretty free. If you're expecting to fight against someone who has a Glory in their hand with Simon, you can go Reassuring Angels to purple Simon, and what you can do is if they play Glory, your purple Simon will kill Possessing Spirit in a battle by the numbers. So anyways, he's able to get Son of God to rescue a lost soul, and I'm able to ban to my entire offense, get Second Coming off of one of the bans, and Zacchaeus will reserve his guy, and I can win the game. So that was the first round. Fast forwarding to round 2, we are playing against a Jeremy Chambers. He was on a Joshua Brown deck, but I didn't know that going, of course, into the tournament. So we'll discover how the game goes. His star ability plays the first out of my deck, which is not what you want. So I get to peek at his reserve with Guardians. So I get to get a little glimpse of he's running Queen Taffy's and Brown stuff. So I'm assuming he's on Brown or pale green right now, and Joshua. And because I'm going second, it looks like I can top deck Resurrection to really try to guarantee a good first turn. Looks like he has a Promised Land here, which is going to attack my hand and make it a lot less likely I'll be able to block him. He's going to hit one of my scribes. So I'm left with a Woman with a Bez and a enhancement that only works on Sadducees. So Jeremy doesn't have the craziest Joshua start in the world. It's just Joshua Stone Carriers. And I could block with Woman with the Bez here, but if I do that, he can just exchange Stone Carriers to Captain and negate Woman of the Bez. And plus he gets to draw 2 cards. So instead of forcing him to get his Captain out, I think it was just better for me to give him the soul. So right here is an example of a game where I could go really offensive heavy, but I instead choose to not play the Resurrection, I think, because I'm just scared of drawing cards. I don't want to draw Lost Souls right now because my hand is not very defensive heavy. So I have Angel of the Winds here, and I could go to Matthew, but instead I'm going to make a mistake and push Guardians plus Mary. And the reason I did that is like Mary is so good against Brown because it negates their stuff. But because I negated characters with Mary, I pushed myself out of battle, and he had a Christian Martyr for Guardians. So I could have definitely played around that better. I could have, if I wanted to ban, I could have gone Gabriel Mary, and that would have got around his Martyr, but I would have had to play around Martyr later on in the game. So part of me's glad I got rid of that now. Part of me feels dumb for for kind of messing up my turn 1 there. But some soldier out is going to help us out. We get to whiff a turn. We draw our undesirables and 2 meeks. Undesirables is one of the lost souls. I'm trying to figure out if that's good or not in the deck. It's helpful when you draw those clunky hands and you just need to buy an extra turn. So I think it's really good in the version of the deck that's running Prince of the Air once that card comes out, but it's kind of questionable here. So I get to see what he's up to. I'm paying attention to the fact that he has King Zimri in his hand plus Glory of the Lord plus a brown enhancement. So if I overcommit to a resurrection without negating his evil stuff, he's going to blow up my offense. So I'm just really trying to be mindful of that. He has a shipwreck in his hand. He was telling me after the game he wishes that shipwreck was a crouch choice. That really would have helped him out. Speaking of crouch choice, I want to play the resurrection here, but I don't want to walk into Zimri. So the way I'm playing around that is I'm getting to my hero that negates evil cards. So that this will stop his block. I'm doing this before he has a chance to block. So we're going to ban to 3 people. We can draw at least 3 cards from here. And I get to play a Lost Soul out of his deck, which is nice for setting up next turn. I love playing Prosperity out of people's decks. Lazarus will draw a card. Joanna can either go to the reserve or it can go to deck to draw 2. So I think I just need more cards, so I'm going to be drawing 2. So not a bad resurrection. He's unable to block, and I think we're tied up at 1-1. Now I have a lot more resources to do blocks with. I haven't played my territory class, so now we can get a good card from our deck. I'm going to get a Woes just in case he tries to reset the Promised Land this turn. He can do that by getting Lost Child found and bouncing it. So if he just decides to bounce it and play it down, I can Woes to negate the bounce or negate the playability. He drew a Humble, which is really good for his brown deck. It's not going to make it more likely he'll be able to block my Lazarus. And there he goes, comes in with Stone Carriers again. He's negating Undesirables, which is unfortunate. So in order to play around his captain, the best block I have is Christian Martyring the Stone Carriers and trying to get the block that way. The only way that backfires if he doesn't have 3 Woes in his hand. He didn't have it, so I'm able to get the block and set up an evil character in their territory to choose as a blocker. So it's kind of perfect, I would say. Shipwreck's my stable, whatever. I don't need it. Now I'm trying to figure out how do I get around his brown blocks. He still has a Glory of the Lord. I don't have much in my hand. I have like some enhancements, some dominance. I think drawing Lost Child Found there is pretty clutch because I can bounce some of my meek heroes. And so this one is where I'm going in with Simon the Zealous. I'm choosing not to convert to Meek because I know he has Glory and I know he doesn't have any black enhancements and I have a purple battle winner. So even if he glories there, we both die by the numbers. And if I convert Woman of Thebes to Meek to a hero here, I break his Joshua Unity and I also make it a potential play where I can bounce Woman of Thebes later up in the game and I keep my Simon around. So good use of Love One Another there. So Jeremy's running a covenant that's letting him get his Joshua heroes back, which is not something I see Joshua decks doing, but is really good because if you kill their Joshua, then it's really hard for them to do things. So he's playing around that. So he's just going to attack with his Joshua band again. Rescue Son of God. It's 2/2. Negate Undesirables again. Surprised he didn't Son of God Undesirables, but I guess he's maybe playing around Led Astray or something. So what am I trying to set up here? I don't even remember why I tried to do this block. Maybe I have a reason. We'll find out. That's a good card. It's protecting lost souls from evil and restricting evil dominance. So what did I have in my hand? Was it oh yeah, it was just a hireling. So I was trying to chump and then shuffle my lost souls away. So I was trying to force his Glory of the Lord out, thinking he was going to go to captain there and draw some cards and play that. And at least I didn't have to worry about Glory on defense. But yeah, I really like Lord's Army and Joshua decks. Okay, Storehouse will let me grab Root of Jesse, which is a decent card in Meek decks. Surprised other decks not running Meeks and Storehouses don't play that in their reserve. Okay, so he has a Distressed out. So we'll catch this eventually, but Possessing Spirit, because I place it down while he has a Distressed, it gets prevented. So it's just going to be put back in my territory eventually. It's not going to impact my turn this turn, but we are just going to... I'm going to catch that eventually. So bounce the Woman of Thebes. I think I'm just trying to set up a Lazarus attack or something, or I'm trying to negate his characters because I know Brown really doesn't like when I attack with a guy that's negating their characters. So Lazarus or Mary the Restored will do it. I like attacking with Mary because I can search for something from hand, or if they block from hand, I get to take a New Testament dominant for my deck. Basically, that's really strong. So trying to decide what I get here, but I'm going to do the safe play and just Angel of the Lord, the blocker. It's Murder's Command. Can go grab Queen Vashti, discarding to add the battle. He's going to reveal my hand, and he knows I have a Root of Jesse, so we're going to see a big discard here. So he's just hoping to hit something second. He's hoping to hit a second coming here. He just hit a bunch of garbage, it looks like, cards I don't care about. But the cards he cares about are Led Astray, Outsiders. I have some good cards in my hand, but if he keeps attacking me with Lord's Army, I'm not going to be able to use my Led Astray. All right, so I am up to 4. I haven't played Second Coming yet. So if I draw my Second Coming and he gets a Lost Soul out, then I can win. But he's at 3. I don't think he's played his Second Coming. So if he attacks, gets a soul here, and draws a Second Coming, then he can win. So this game's coming down to be pretty close. And here's where I think I realize about Possessing Spirit. So yeah, I correct that. And this is a cool play. In order to set up his Lost Child Found, he resurrected his Blood Avenger, it's a hero, and now he's going to bounce it, bouncing my Hand Protection and his white hero, so he can get Joshua Unity. And Jeremy does something I don't expect. He takes the Lazarus here. I'm like, okay, he took Lazarus because that's a good card against him, but he's actually going to attack me with my own Lazarus. And Lazarus plus Glory, I think, is going to be enough to get him a Lost Soul here. He didn't realize that if he just pushed Lord's Army again, that would have been really good. Because like I just had Dominance and Woman of Thebes, but he got really smart. He didn't see the Lord's Army attack, but he did see a Lazarus line. And I can't 3 woes Lazarus's negate to block with Woman of Thebes, so I have to just chump with Outsiders. And before I can play my Betrayal, he just glories and I die. So if he has Second Coming there, he wins. It's my turn. Now I need to figure out a way to get a Lost Soul into play. I did draw my Second Coming off the Outsiders, but I drew Angelic Guidance, and I can go Res Revealer into Harvest Time into Son of God. So we win that one. That was a close one, 5-4. So that means we're 3-0. I think this tournament is a 5-round tournament. So we got 2 more rounds to go. This next match is up against Peter. He's on a clay, I think it's Peter. He's on a clay gray deck. I think this might have been my favorite match of the day. All right. I think he wins the die roll. He gets to go first. He's off to 4 Drachma Coin plus Simon Peter start. His territory class card is Spirit as a Dove, so he's going to be able to get to Matthew 2. Plus Denarius. So let's see. Opponent, let's see, you drew 4 cards from Denarius and 4 cards from 4 Drachma Coin, and then you have attacking with the Matthew. So this is about as fast as you can get as far as from a clay deck perspective. So I know I'm going to be behind, especially if I don't have a herdsman here, and I don't have the herdsman. The herdsman here would have been so gross. He gets to draw 3 cards, so just to draw 11. I do have a Woman of Thebes block, so I'm smoking out his 3 woes. So opponent is gonna get an early lead here, but playing the 3 woes as good to negate Woman is a great thing for my deck. It means now I don't have to worry about that for the rest of the game, pretty much. I have to. I'm thinking like, okay, he has so many resources. How do I come back from this game? He has Hand Protection, so attacking with Matthew to try and draw cards isn't going to work. So I just decide to attack with a Meek Matthew here. My hand is pretty loaded from what I could tell. Entrapping Pharisees, revealing Pontius Pilate. It's going to force me to discard. Now I have to figure out what I'm going to do. Okay, he burns a Falling Away, get the blocks. So now I'm really behind. Not only did I whiff my first rescue, I didn't draw any cards. The only thing helping me out here is Soul Drought. Lawless is going to stop my... Dang it, Lawless. I have a Son in my I have a Son of God in my hand too, which I was holding just in case he drew a Hopper or Lost Souls. But if I Son of God the Lawless, that's not going to put the Lost Soul back. So probably worst case scenario for me. Herod's Temple coming out. Yeah, I'm really off to a slow start. Although I have forced him to play Falling Away and 3 woes. But my hand's full of dominance. If I draw high places, I can turn Harvest Time into draw 8. So the way I do that is if I play high places, it says if I put a Meek Lost Soul into play, I can draw a card. So if I do like Harvest Time for 5, I can get 4 Meeks and then the first. I can trigger the first, put it on top, trigger high places, trigger the first. And so I can trigger the first 4 times, then high places 4 times for a total of 8 draws. To make my hand a lot worse, he does put down the cross, which makes my hand of like 4 dominance really bad. So I did have another Woman of Thebes, which I was hoping to block with, but Attack with Lazarus is gonna make this game a 2-0 lead for my opponent. And luckily, I am not drawing Lost Souls here, which is the only thing I think keeping me in this game. I'm stranding his Son of God Second Coming in his hand, and it's giving me time to catch up. All right, let's negate his good cards in his territory. Good Seed, Herod's Temple, Beth's Stable, etc., etc. Here's where I make a misplay. I play down my Woman of Thebes in my territory. And now it turns off Possessing Spirit, his negate ability. I was trying to set up a Betrayal there to look at their hand, but I just kind of dunked it. That's a big misplay by there for me. Right now, I think I'm really just trying to get rid of the cross. I think I have a way to do it. So I had to exchange 3 cards in my hand. What did I do? Did I just draw 3? Did I make a mistake? Hello? Because Concealed Riches said I have to put 3 cards. So I don't remember what 3 cards. Hello? Did I not do that? What am I doing? Hello? I don't know what I did here. I might have drawn, by the looks of this, I might have just put 3 cards in my hand. If that's the case, I don't. Oh no. Because yeah, I grab Root of Jesse, Ascension, Husham. What do I put back, you know? It doesn't look like I'm putting anything back. What the heck? I'm cheating. Okay, I think I mess up there. I think I accidentally forget to exchange, or I don't know what happened. But from what I can tell from this angle, I don't remember what happened during the game. But it doesn't look like it resolved my Concealed Riches correctly. But maybe I did. Maybe I did. Maybe I was able to put some stuff in there before. I just don't know. So anyways, I'm able to find an Angel of the Winds, shuffles away the cross, and I'm now free from the cross's burden, from the cross's reign of terror. So yeah, I feel bad though if I just turn my Concealed Riches into draw 3. Like I feel awful if I did that. So that's not how I want to. Yeah, man, Judge. Someone disqualified this guy. I think I could have tanked it, but like, I think I could have like shipped away Betrayal, Glass Curse, and, you know, like Ascension or something. Anyways. So I banned, so he blocks with Claudius, and then I'm able to band in Mary the Restored to negate him, and I think he dies. And he doesn't have a Scattered. That's a very important turn for Peter. Not only does he have to generate a Lost Soul, he also has to get around my Husham the Timonite plus Glory of the Lord block. So he got a You Will Remain, so if he activates that, and then he also gets a soul out of my deck, he could probably rescue something here. Yeah, especially because I blocked with I put my Woman of Thebes down, and he's just able to use his 3 woes to negate it, so it's very sad. So here's a very heads up play. He's able to bounce my deck protection, and he's also able to grab his Bartholomew from his reserve, and that will search out a Lost Soul. And if he activated You Will Remain, that was a very strong attack with Good Seed plus Sin the Helper plus You Will Remain plus CBN stuff. But now I think I'm able to just Husham plus Glory here. And Good Seed doesn't get around that. Good Seed only works if you have evil character in battle. So there's the Glory and there's the Husham, which will discard all cards in battle. There's nothing he can do about it, really. I just got to get through this defense here. We're slowly coming back. We're getting some blocks. Good old Serapidus Scheme Star draws me a couple cards. Very nice. I have quite the turn to navigate here. Trying to figure out how can I turn my Possessing Spirit back on and get my Woman with the Bez back into my hand. Help somebody. What am I cooking? Burial's a great, great way to stall the game out too. Disciples, once they've used their Bartholomew and their bounce, and if I get more deck protection, there's not a lot they can do about a Burial. So we're giving Big Clay the time it needs to take over the game here. The reason I didn't put down my hand protection again was because of Entrapping Pharisees. It's a CBN capture if I have hand protection, so trying to avoid that if at all possible. So I'm thinking like, okay, he's blocking with this. I'm going to get initiative. I'm going to be able to use the Ascension to abandon a bunch of heroes and snowball the game. So I'm like, I have Untouchable and Ascension in my hand. Decide to discard Untouchable, but that lets him activate his Herod's Temple, and then all of a sudden I'm wishing I had a 7-hour enhancement in my hand. So that's a definite punt. So So I think that was like a big mistake that I think comes back to get me. I see he has Resurrection, Glory. So he still has a bunch of good dominance in his deck. I think I'm playing this Harvest Time to try and just draw into like an answer for entrapping. Because I don't want to lose the battle. I need to draw my other untouchables. So I'm doing the first trick again to draw 4. And I don't think I drew anything. So I'll die to my own stupidity. Burial to underdeck the souls and passing the turn. So let's see what they're going to do here. Having this Woman of Thebes in my territory is going to come back to bite me, I feel like, here. They're going to be able to play some good cards. One of them being a Lost Child Found or something. Imagine. Good Seed coming down, which makes it a lot harder for me to block in some ways. I can block with somebody and then they just add like a Lazarus to battle. There's the You'll Remain coming out. It looks like he's attacking with a Mary as Unity. So they're going to get to negate and reserve something in my territory. Reverting to Meek. So let's see, they have a couple brigades out with outsiders. They have board advantage. So even though this is just a battle challenge, I can just block with outsiders and do some value underdecking. And importantly, I got to make sure I underdeck outsiders too. So they can't play enhancements that might cause me some problems. So that I took an opportunity to get rid of my Woman of Thebes, underdeck that, the Book of the Covenant, outsiders, and Good Seed. Looks like they discarded a Scattered here. And the past turn to me. Drew the first. So the problem with underdecking on my souls, I still had the first on top of my deck, so I knew I was going to draw it that turn. So a little problem with playing like that. Activating Temple Veil to reset a hero. Trying to think of what my best attacks are. I have an Ascension in my hand and a Lost Child Found, so like not the best enhancements. Trying to figure out if I could somehow get their hand protection down. Bounce Possessing Spirit to reset it to get the negate going again. But if I do this and I attack with Matthew, I'm walking straight into entrapping Pharisees here. I have a right on, so maybe in order to play around getting entrapping Pharisee out of the game, I can just make it so I ban to a bunch of stuff. And since he discarded his Scattered Sheep, like what can you do against that? I mean, he has a duplicity, so not to say that he can't do anything, but I think I went this line just because I could get a lot of value, draw a bunch of cards. So yeah, we got a dominant with Resurrection Revealer. We got many cards, tossing the next, converting his stuff, and choosing Possessing Spirit as a blocker with our Zacchaeus. Turns this turn into a very nice swing in tempo. We're going to play Son of God Second Coming, so now we just need one more turn to get through here. God's Choice, getting a Christian Martyr is also a good idea. And then slamming a Nazareth down, so even if opponent does have their Son of God Second Coming, they won't be able to use their Second Coming to search. So how many forts do I have out there? I have Storehouse, Nazareth, Best Stable, Wall Protection, Herod's Temple, a lot of stuff. He's going to Son of God the first, which is, I don't know if you should save that Son of God there or hold it. Yeah, there's the Second Coming in hand. And opponent just passes it back. Facing the Soul Drought, not able to get anything and scared of attacking. So pass it back. I drew 3 souls. So now I think we're on time. I think this is the last turn I get to take. I'm just trying to figure out how do I break through here. Really wish I had my Possessing Spirit back to get rid of his hand protection. Can't do any searching right now because of Nazareth. I have a Betrayal. I can underdeck something. If I was going to underdeck something, I could underdeck Herod's Temple here. Makes it easier for me to attack their territory with stuff. But I guess I was trying to get their hand protection down for Matthew to come and look at their hand. Draw some more cards here. So I know I'm walking straight into entrapping Pharisees, but I have Angel of the Lord. Can't use it because he's protected. So I think there's a way for me to get around that turn there. I just didn't see the line. Maybe it was like Gabriel plus Matthew attacking. And so that game ends 4-3. It could have been 4-4 if I hadn't played the Nazareth. So I got out the narrow win here. In the finals, this is round 5, we're playing against Mr. Brian Jones himself. And so he was running a version of Big Clay that we'll look at after this game is over, but he's been one of the people I've been really discussing the deck with, and we've been bouncing ideas off of each other. And so it's cool to get another person looking at the deck and thinking about, okay, what could be good, what could be bad, how does this deck work? Sorry, I should have been playing full screen this whole time, huh? So Brian's been a great testing partner in that way, or just think tank partner. He has a lot of great takes, and he also tries out things that I think I would be hesitant to try out. So we can talk more about his list after this game. I win the die roll, and I drew the first on the first turn, which is okay. My hand is full of good cards, and I won the die roll, so it feels nice to be able to go first here. So we're just going to try to set up get some information, look at his hand. Got Storehouse, got some card glare. I see 2 4 drachma coins in his hand, which is not how you want to line that up. So I'm going to get the Res Revealer, try to negate his neutrals to make sure he can't dig his way back into the game. Get a Thomas the Twin down. And Judas, so we have so many territory class stuff on turn 1. In Resurrection Revealer, Git plays Resurrection, which can get another Res Revealer, which turns on negate neutrals, which seems important right now. I lost a lot of his deck here, and I'm also just trying to get some context about what he's running, but I'm wanting to shut down his draw engine because I'm negating his Lost Souls, and if I put the first out in play right now, he doesn't have an easy way to get to it. So that was like another way he could draw back into the game. There goes the 4 drachma coins down there. It's really cool to be able to go into the finals with the big clay deck, and not only that, but be able to see another big clay deck up at that table too. That's really cool. Okay, so he attacked with Res Revealer, decided not to search. He was very scared of my Thomas the Twin. He didn't want me searching good dominance out of my deck. So he's going to be playing very conservatively here. So something you can do with the Resurrection, it's like you can search and then ban to the Thomas. So you won't be punished to do the searching. So he missed out on a Fortress and Empty Tomb Hero here, which could have mattered, especially if he got Res Revealer there, because he would have negated my undesirables. So I didn't really have a block for him there, especially because he played the Resurrection while I had a Christian Martyr in my hand. So the bad news is I had to give him a soul, so it's 1-1. The good news is it was undesirables, so he's going to have to skip his next turn, his next combat phase. So let's get my Thomas the Twin back online, figure out how we're gonna be able to use this resource advantage, or this leverage, get to take my lead and run away with it, so to say. So I have that little rubber ducky on my deck to remind me not to forget about the skipped combat phase. Let's see, I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing this turn. I think I'm just trying to get initiative, the small clay hero, and set up an ascension. So instead of trying to contest that block, he's just gonna give up me another soul. Spirit as a dove. I want to try and close this game out quickly, so I'm going to be trying to set up for me to win next turn. So in order to do that, I need to have Son of God Second Coming in my hand. So yeah, I don't think I'd played my territory class that turn. I have Son of God. I can get to Second Coming probably next turn. So we have Thomas, we have Res Revealers, we have Judas, but he does have protected and there. So this is a weakness of Big Clay, so Brian's a little bit on the back foot here. It's going to take some time for his defense to get developed. He's going to be able to draw into it, but yeah, it's just taking a little bit. Okay, so he's playing 3 woes in his upkeep to negate 2 of my good cards. So he's getting his neutrals back online, but because his combat's being skipped, not sure how he'll be able to leverage that, especially if there's no Simon Peter in play. I think he's trying to figure out what he's going to do for his Concealed Riches turn. So Concealed Riches goes away. He's grabbing 2 cards from his reserve and exchanging 2 cards from his hand. Means I get a Thomas trigger, get my Second Coming. Very nice, just exactly what I want. And now before he can play his Possessing Spirit, I think I'm going to try to get my Son of God back. So yeah, because I know he got Possessing Spirit, and I don't want him to negate my Thomas. So I decided to play Son of God to rescue. He played Burial, and I went Second Coming to get back Son of God, and he passes the turn. So I need to figure out a way to get a Lost Soul out of his deck, but I think I can, because I can just go Harvest or Crouch Choice into Harvest Time. That gives me the number of souls I need to close out the game here. So yeah, I'm trying to remember what I'm doing here. Getting Golgotha, Crouch Choice to Golgotha to Possessing Spirit. I guess I just oh, he's gonna Angel the Lord, the Possessing Spirit in the territory. Okay. So yeah, I think I made this a little hard on myself. I think I was trying to set up a Possessing Spirit block so I could play Ascension, so I could then get Harvest Time. But because he made things a little difficult for me, I just had to push with a Woman with Child. Because he already played Burial, I'm free to set up my own Burial this way by playing Harvest Time for a lot. The opponent has a Deceiver in their hand, so that means they can get to any evil character in their deck or reserve. So he knows my list pretty well, and he's pretty confident I don't have any white Interrupt the Battle winners. Luckily, we've already got our Son of God out of our discard pile. He's going to banish 2 and put me in Special Initiative. And yeah, don't have any answers to that. So I'm not sure why I didn't just like push with why I didn't Crouch Choice into Harvest Time and just go that route. I guess I was trying to go for the higher upside. And forcing him to spend his Angel of the Lord there too is great. I missed a trigger on my Thomas the Twin for the Husham. The Deceiver search. Opponent is figuring out what they're going to do. Their neutrals are now negated again, but he's just trying to draw more cards. So yeah, double Ascension. I was really focused on trying to set that up, huh? Maybe I was scared of like a Woman of the Bez block. If I just try to play Harvest Time and push with like a Simon there, they can just Deceiver into Woman of the Bez, and I'm kind of screwed. Outsiders draw some cards, and then Christian Martyr, their only attacker, feels great. So they can't play Damascus as a site, but they can play as a fortress. Well, they could play as a site, but it's just going to get negated. Not sure why they didn't put the Possessing Spirit down there to turn off the Res Revealers and my territory class stuff, my fortresses. Yeah, not sure. Okay, now I'm trying to set up for the Possessing Spirit turn again. So bouncing that, I get to reset my Golgotha, can go to my reserve to get the Possessing Spirit. But because I didn't bounce my Outsiders, I don't have Unity for Possessing Spirits, so this turn would have been a lot easier if I just remembered to bounce my Outsiders there. So I think for my last attack, I'm doing Guardians, Banded to Simon, Banded, and then send the Helper, get Eternal Inheritance. So I think Brian told me he doesn't really have a block in his hand right now. And he's telling me like he wonders what would have happened if things had gone a certain way. Yeah, he didn't have a block there, but he was like wondering what would have happened if he did have an evil character to block there. He did have Herod Agrippa the first, I think, in Abandonment, so that would have got a block, but he didn't have it, so game is over 5-1. And so long story short, we were able to take down Kentucky State with Big Clay here. So Brian Jones ended up in 5th place after that. And here's the deck that he went. He went more of like a Philistine package, playing War Overtaken instead of Martyr. And I think he was like running 1 Woman of the Bez instead of 2, playing more Philistines like Goliath, Philistine Armor Bearer. Besides that, I think the other differences are pretty marginal. Oh yeah, the coolest part, I think, was running the Herod Agrippa the second, because the idea is you block with Herod Agrippa the second, and you can either play Abandonment or Led Astray, and that turns their entire banding chain into a captured banding chain. But I'm not sure if I'm sold on this approach, because like if you're already playing Led Astray, you're already getting a block in a sense, so like it's kind of win more to capture them all, and you already have ways to blow up their banding chain with Husham. But I get it, being able to go like Herod Agrippa block, Warrior Overtaken at Goliath, capture all your stuff. It's not bad, but I think just getting the block is fine. Like you don't need to worry about destroying everything. So I had a great time at Kentucky State. I will be doing another video that talks about my experience playing Classic and teams, and maybe another video after that talking about where does Big Clay go from here. But really enjoyed the play group there, bunch of solid players, and thanks again, Brian, for hosting. I will see you guys around.